Great. Mario, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you taking a few minutes. This is a real treat for me to get a chance to talk to you, man.
Well, thank you, man. I can make a movie all day long, but if we don't have a voice to get to talk to cats like you, no one knows. Especially if you're doing an independent film that won't have big billboards. See, the thing is, when you take the studio's money, you get all those lovely billboards, but the
Yeah,
golden rule is he who has the gold makes the rule. So you have to make the movie they want you to make. And I wanted to do Outlaw Posse without dumbing it down, with all the stuff that's important for us to hear
yeah.
finding a Western. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that why I was so happy to talk to you because I mean, you've been such a huge influence on all of not just black cinema, but all of indie cinema, really, for what you've been doing for the last few decades, man. So this is I want to let you know I appreciate it.
Right
And I
on.
know a lot of people in my circle appreciate it too. But let's talk about Outlaw Posse. Where'd your idea for the concept for this one come from? I mean, for me, Posse was a seminal film. To see you come back and do something that to me feels like a spiritual successor or a companion, it was like, pretty exciting. So talk to me about where the idea originated from.
Well, when I did Posse, I had done a film. My first feature was called New Jack City.
Hmm.
When I did New Jack City, the studios were like, well, what do you want to do next? And I said, well, one out of three cowboys was black, and we don't see that reflected in the Westerns. It's like we know heavyweight champs look like Ali and Tyson, but Hollywood makes them look like Rocky. We know, karate was martial art invented by the Asians, but the Karate Kid doesn't get to be Asian. So I said, I want to do a Western that reflects some of the folks that we haven't seen traditionally in Westerns. And they said, oh, you want to make Old Jack City? So I made Posse 30 years ago, so I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. And now with Outlaw Posse, with Posse, I had my father, Melvin Van Peebles. I didn't have kids. With Outlaw Posse, I have kids, but I no longer have my dad. And so I thought it was really time to see the connective tissue that you got father, son, grandson. And as Whoopi Goldberg's character, Stagecoach Mary, observes when my son and I have to hitch a ride with her on her stagecoach, she says to my son, she says, Mandela, she says, boy, you lucky. You're part of the first generation that gets to legally call a black man father. Up until we were freed in 1863, 1865 here in Texas, you couldn't legally be a black father in America. The white slave owner made all the decisions for the children.
Yeah.
They kept the mom around to nurse the product, but they often got rid of the dad. So we haven't had that long to get our father game on. And I thought I played a lot of roles. I played Malcolm X. I played my own father. I played a lot of great roles. But one of the best roles I've got to play is myself being a dad. And so I wanted to show that love. And when I was thinking of Outlaw Posse and I was writing it, I was thinking about that Johnny Cash song, Boy Named Sue, where he has a difficult relationship with his dad, if any. And then at the end starts to understand where his dad was coming from. And so I sort of wrote Outlaw Posse with that in mind. And then Mandela, my son, is an actor and he's also a cowboy. And as he said in an interview the other day, the good thing about him in the movie with me is we don't have to fake the love. We don't have to fake the drama. We don't have to fake the horse riding. We don't have to fake the gunplay. We know it all, and we don't have to fake the love. So it's real.
How did Mandela influence the character of Decker though? Like what aspects of his personality was he able to bring to the character as you were shaping him out?
Um, well, there's a sort of a side to him that he's observant. He's a listener. He can be very outgoing, but he's not one of those cats that just comes in and jumps in the pool. He looks and sees if there's water in there, who's standing around, what the situation is. And I thought Decker had to have a lot. Decker, because of his role in the movie, his wife getting kidnapped, etc., has a lot going on. And to put him in a difficult place with his own father, where he's got to make a choice between protecting his wife or protecting his dad, would be really interesting. And I know he can act. He's on Reginald the Vampire. He's on Mayor of Kingston. He acted in Roots. I know he can do that. So I wrote it kind of with him in mind, just like when I used DC Young Fly in the movie. DC Young Fly, Cedric the Entertainer, Edward James Olmos, Emmett Walsh, Neil McDonough. You'll notice all the actors that I use, because I'm a director actor, I give them space, I give them a great introduction, and I give them their shine. And so as an actor director, I like to give them what I want to get when I'm just acting. Yeah.
Do you think that's why you're always able to attract so many people? Because it's one thing that's never been an issue is you being able to attract talent to be part of your movies.
I think that's part of it, is that when I work with them and we kick it off, we find a way. They know I'm about the work. Some people, you gotta, and I'm not saying, some people are in this business to, meet chicks. Some people are in the business to ride in limos. Some people are in the business to have what they perceive as power. I'm in the business to say something that moves the consciousness a little bit. So I don't have a lot of blame. I don't need more property or cars or hats. So when you know someone's about the material, they tend to feel that. And then it's not about the money. It's not that I can pay Whoopi Wood and she's never been paid, or DC or Cedric, or any of these folks. It's that I'm coming in saying, we in America are so divided right now. We don't even share the same facts. And we have the chance to use culture as a healing agent. And the surprise that at the same time, you've got the Van Peebles family making a Western with love for everybody. You've got Beyonce, stepping up on the country charts. You've got Pharrell with a whole Western line. You've got the Bill Pickett Rodeo with its 40th anniversary. And more of us are realizing that, wait a minute, it used to be illegal to teach an enslaved person to read. Now in Florida, it might become illegal to read about an enslaved person again. We're taking the optics of our history back. Dr. King said we either learn to live together as brothers and sisters, we perish together as fools. And I think that's the same with history. If you don't know we were all here, you don't know where you were. If you don't know where you were, how are you going to know where you're going? You might end up getting fooled and buy some silly sneakers.
Is that one of the reasons why you see, because you've done a lot of different kinds of movies, but you seem to have a particular affinity for Westerns, at least it seems that way to me. And is that one of the reasons why you continue to make Westerns like this, is because you're trying to say something in particular through this genre?
Maybe. I think also I'm a boy at heart, truth be known. There's something about riding through the West and hauling ass on your horse. And when you do a film like this, which is a big budget independent film, it's not so much CI. It's not AI. It's not CGI. It's real guy. So you gotta ride for real. I don't just have to be friends with my son. I have to also be on good terms with his horse, because in the bank robbery scene, that all happens in one shot. And if he doesn't come in with his horse right on time, Daddy get his ass left, and we have to shoot it again. So there's something fun and visceral about bringing this kind of truth to the screen and getting to show us things that happen. And at the end of the movie, when you see the real characters, and you go, I had no idea we came that close. Like, we don't glamorize Stagecoach Mary. We get real close to what she looked like.
Yeah.
And even the down to little roles, like the Asian cat who in the town of Little Heaven, his dream is to become the owner of a restaurant and not work on the railroad. Well, guess what? He is the great, 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 great grandson of the guy that owns the longest running family Chinese restaurant in Montana. And that's him. Same last name, Tam. Right?
That's awesome.
So even in little roles, you go, wow, that's the real deal. We really were there. The Asians built the railroad. The Native Americans did everything. Black folks made America very wealthy. Women weren't just pale and frail and in need of rescuing. You know what I mean? Our Mexican brothers, man, the border moved across them. They were here before us, many of them. You know what I mean? So when you really understand the history of the West and know how diverse it was, it's just, you get excited about it, and I'm still excited about it. And I'm a boy at heart, so I like playing cowboys and colonizers.
Are you still having as much fun now as you were, 30 years ago when you first made it in New Jack City and all this kind of? Are you still having the same amount of fun now? You seem like you are. To me, it seems like you're the same age, frankly, which I want to ask you about later. But but it seems like you're still having a ball, man.
I'm actually having more fun because, see, and something I didn't understand when my dad told me this. He said, son, when you're young, you don't know really if you're going to make it. And you don't know if you're going to make it if you're going to be a jerk. And you don't know if you're not going to make it if you're going to be a jerk. This business will magnify whoever you are. So when you get to a certain place and you go, oh, I'm okay. This is cool. I make some, listen, let me tell you the ultimate compliment to me. I was walking with my dad in New York, and his brother came up behind us. He had silver dreads. He said, Mr. Van Peebles, I love your work. So we both turned around. He said, yes, sir, I'm talking to both of you. I want you to know I'm a fan, but I'm not a groupie. Sometimes I go to movies and I'm entertained. And that's a good thing. He said, sometimes I go to the movies and I grow, I learn something. There's a movement in consciousness. That's a great thing. And sometimes, rarely, I go to the movies and I come out proud to be a person of color. And with your movies, both of your movies, I get all three.
Yeah, it's a hell of a compliment. Doesn't get much better than that.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? So I'm having more fun because how many people get to, play Malcolm, play their dad, work with people they love, the three loves in life, love what you do, love and enjoy the people you work with, and love what you get to say with your work. So I think when you love what you do and you have a sense of humor about it, you have a different relationship with everything. And aging is one of those.
Do you see a future for Mandela as a filmmaker, just like you, just passing it along, man? Do you see the same thing for him?
You know what? I always thought we were kind of like the Jacksons without the talent. So some will go be LaToya. I don't know. And I'm not, I'm just being silly, but it's hard to know. Not everyone. We try not to conflate in my family people we love with people who are good at what they think they love. Mm-hmm. My mother has passed, but she used to love to act. Problem was she was no good, so I wouldn't hire her. But that don't mean I don't love her. It just means that I need a good actor. So I'm not doing you a favor, right? So I may love to play for the Lakers, but guess what? I probably should not do that. So you don't get it conflated. I think Mandela would not be in Outlaw Posse if he weren't hella good, coming early, leaving late, and working for the family discount. The boys got it. Whether anyone will make a living doing what they love, I can't say. That's always, I didn't know if I would. So I don't want to get comfortable in that. And I don't want them to overhear me and think, oh, I can slack off. No, you got to get out and work like everybody. In fact, more so than everybody else. So I have a little Joe Jackson in me that way.
I always ask filmmakers this at the end. What do you hope that people get from your movie when they go see it?
I hope they get that, it took all Americans of all colors to build this country, and that you can make a great Western like you can make any other film without marginalizing any race. I know in my own family I've got black, white, brown, yellow, got a gay aunt, I got a Trumper aunt, so I got a love with big arms. So when your own family looks like the world, the advantage is you kind of have to go, oh, I gotta love the world then, because that's my family, right? And that's how I make cinema. I paint with all the colors. So I don't, just because I say save the whales doesn't mean I'm saying screw the dolphins, right? So I try to make a film like Outlaw Posse in a way that we can all come together and laugh, have a beer, bring our expectations down low, and laugh at things that we wouldn't be able to say at a cocktail party. I mean, when's the last time you saw Butch and Sundance Kid rob a bank and one of them in whiteface? You go see some stuff you don't traditionally see. Now, what's interesting, I'll tell you what's deep, is that, and this happened with Posse too, and I'm generalizing, again, I'm mixed with everybody, so I feel like I can do this, but in general, white reviewers see one movie and black reviewers notice a whole different movie. Right. I'll give you a case in point. So white reviewers have said they were after some gold. Black folks noticed it's reparations gold. But they're the only ones that do it. Do you know what I mean? When we had braids, we make these very intricate braids. I was in Colombia, and they were showing how they would make these braids. And the slavers or the colonizers would say, oh, those are wild braids. That's what their analysis would be. But the black folks would know that that braid was the map with the best escape routes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes, when you're a member of the dominant culture, and every SAT and every job interview and every judge is inclined to look at you and go your way, you get blind spots. It's not your fault. You get blind spots. But we have to be very aware of being multilingual. So we watched the movie and go, oh wow, like one sister watched Outlaw Posse. She said, I loved how Melindy could play the harp. And at the beginning, she had to have her hair all up and wrapped up tight. But by the end, in the town that accepted everybody, she could teach with her hair down. No white reviewer would notice that. My mom, white lady, she wouldn't notice that. I'm not faulting anybody. But if you didn't know, you wouldn't get it. And we get the subtleties. There's a line there when I'm talking to my son about why I kept the distance from him at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I made a promise to your mother that I would let you grow up free to believe you could become whatever you want. Because I knew since he was born free and I had been born enslaved, I didn't want him to think that he had no choice but to be an outlaw. You feel me?
Yeah.
Whereas the white kid would go, oh, I can be the president, I could be a farmer, or I could be an outlaw. Still there.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have that same dynamic. So there's little subtleties that are cultural differences that's been so I find it fascinating when I read reviews. Okay, I know who that is, and I know who this is.
Well, Outlaw Posse opens on March 1st tomorrow. So I wish you the best of luck, man. And thank you very much for taking some time. We got to talk about whenever you do your next movie, whatever it's going to be. I hope we get a chance to talk to you again, man.
Brother, amen. Hey, yo, I really like your background. You got it going on.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.